you remember that?
I can remember that.
Remember those days?
Yep, I graduated in 80.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I said, damn, why did us do it?
09 is kind of a blur.
I thought it would be the year after you graduated would be a little bit of a blur.
No, heck no.
Dr. Allen, how are you?
Doctor,
Doctor.
Basic training.
what happened there?
It would all be a blur. 'Cause
Since when did I wake up to become a doctor? Years of experience. Well, that I may have.
State of Michigan.
I've heard that about you.
You worked in the state of Michigan,
Yes.
and then you went to the service? Okay, okay.
Well, back in 1980,
Sir, how are you?
I was doing low-income insulation windows, caulking windows, and doors up in northern Michigan.
Anybody needs an agenda, we have an agenda up here, or if you'd like to sign in, speak, please feel free to come up and sign in.
I said, why? The state of Michigan. Go bankrupt. You don't have enough money. It was like mid-81.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, guess what? Do something.
And you just joined.
Yep, and joined the service. Kind of a thing to do for 3 years. Yeah.
Thing you did at the high school, that donation.
Yeah. That was,
Oh, with the lodge?
Lodge, yeah.
not much was really going
Nope.
on, so that's a good
They
time,
were saying
right?
that they need a donation, so.
Yeah, it was,
2 minutes.
Center Line
it was
Lodge,
bad. I mean, it's
now merged in with that new lodge, but they were like, we still, we still care about Center Line.
80.
So they were like, just let us know if you need anything else.
What do you need a donation for?
Huh?
What is
because it went from
The
Milliken,
Victory Garden.
somebody done it with Blanchard.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Well, so apparently, I mean, they have like a goal in mind, but I can't remember what that number is, but all I know is that at the meeting, he said that they're not putting any of the money
Hello.
from the budget into.
If you wanna speak, you can
all
sign in or
donation is,
just
so-
grab the agenda and listen.
How are you? Good. I know we're giving up those Lions, I'm working on the Knights.
Wait a minute, we'll wait 30 seconds. Oh, it just turned 7:30. All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order, the City of Centerline. If we all can rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
If you want to speak, you can talk, stand right there.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. We need a motion.
I'll make a motion to excuse Mayor Bob Benson.
I have a motion.
Support.
I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Adoption of agenda. Do we have any deletions or additions to our agenda today?
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, we need to add to we'll add it to 6B, Business of the Month.
This month, okay. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Administrative responses to issues or questions raised in previous meeting.
We have to make a motion to.
Oh, yes, we do.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the agenda as amended, it's item 6B.
Have a motion, have support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Now administrative responses to questions or issues raised during previous meetings. I know we had one, the chickens and hens, and
Parking
Any
up,
There
update?
was,
walking the sidewalks.
hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the assistant, well, your deputy.
City
yeah, City
manager.
manager.
Hey, Janice.
Yeah, I was gonna say Janice, but was there any update on that?
No, it has been sent to the attorney's office for them to review.
Okay. So we will
So there's no answer yet on that.
follow back up on that. Councilman Herensky.
Blocking of the sidewalks by residential cars. Public safety issue.
Yeah, perhaps we could have the Rex come up and speak on behalf of that item.
Yes, officers were advised of it. We do have a traffic detail that was included, they were advised about this problem that we were having.
Yeah.
Through their normal patrol, I haven't heard anything if they've written anybody any tickets about it yet.
Okay.
But then again, like I said, we're dealing with a major traffic problem currently, so.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Director.
Any other issues, guys? I don't remember. I don't have any more on my sheet.
I didn't have any from them.
I have anything.
All right, audience comment.
You gotta sign up.
Yeah, you have to sign up to speak.
Now, is this on any particular issue or?
Nope, you have your 3 minutes to speak, and go ahead to the podium and speak away.
Okay, my issue is with priority waste and the accountability. Nobody's holding them accountable. They're throwing the trash, the yard waste in the same truck. The way I look at it, if you're paying these people to send 3 trucks in your neighborhood, and they're only sending 2, somebody's getting fat. Somebody's making some money. And that's just common sense. I'm not highly educated like the rest of y'all, but common sense is common sense. Okay, now I sent the city manager email 6 months ago. Nothing's happened. I called the other day, nothing's happened. I just running interference when you have a complaint. So I'm here after 33 years of sitting over there on Engelman saying, somebody needs to do something.
All right.
Okay, it's that simple. Thank you.
We'll definitely reach out to Priority Waste.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Jeff? Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'll try and keep it to 3 minutes, I don't know. I have about 5 items briefly. First, just a couple what this gentleman said. I observed the same thing. I called, they said they shouldn't be doing that. They've taken yard waste bags and passed by my receptacle of yard waste. Okay. Also, I see a lot of good things happening, and if during comments, I appreciated the comments on Stellantis, but sometimes members up here don't speak into the microphone, so if we listen on a replay or live, we don't hear all the comments, okay? So if you could purposely, when you're speaking, speak into the microphone, please. Even on a rewind on YouTube, I can't make it out when I put it full blast, okay?
Okay.
The other thing is address maybe a little bit more in depth on item number 4. Last year, you had a 5% increase. This year, it's included in the other bid for the Westrick is AEW is included in another bid. There was a $28,000 amount, now it's up to $294,000, and I understand it includes 3 sections: garbage, yard waste, and recycle, but one of them's optioned out to our old company that used to collect waste. So if you can address, it was an increase in 24 of 5%, now you're asking for another increase. Could you address that? There's just numbers there. Could you give an increase of how much that is
For
the cost of the increase? It was
the engineering-
stipulated as
on the
5%
engineering
last
costs?
year.
for which item?
For number 4?
Because number 4 is a
Oh, this was-
project. Was that last meeting, you mean?
It was, for the, it was under the shredding, excuse me, under the shredding, that's what it was. It's now included under the 294.
You're talking about the consent agenda number 3?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
all right.
I should have left that in the order I had it. To move on, receptacles, could we please maybe consider somebody having lids on recycled items? I called about lids. There's no apparent local ordinance for recycle bins that people purchase from the city. You can purchase them from the company, they have a flap lid, but this stuff blows around. Winter, it's the same thing. I'm just getting sick and tired of having to go out there and clean up other people's recycled items that get blown around because they stuff the recycle bin, okay? So maybe from here on out, if someone wants to purchase one, a new resident, maybe require a lid on that recycle bin.
You're talking about the small ones, right?
Correct. They stuff them and it goes all over. And as we heard and I've seen, it doesn't always get cleaned up. I try and clean up our, in front of our street if there's garbage or recycle. It doesn't happen all over the place. So maybe something to consider, a lid. Also, I mentioned a couple meetings ago about maybe stepped up enforcement at the end of fall for leaves, because that carries over in the winter for plowing and for the sewer grates clogging up the system. And as you know, we're spending a lot of money on Stevens project and of course 10 Mile. Small thing, but it adds up. So maybe we can have a stepped up enforcement at the end of fall before winter strikes and nobody wants to pick up their leaves. I don't know. It's on the website, notices for grass and such. Maybe at the end of fall, include something else. There'll be stepped up enforcement. Maybe people will pay attention and make a greater effort. Also, recently up north, we had a winter catastrophe, and I got stuck up there, but it would turn out to be a great thing because the community came together. And we fed people 3 meals, and we even went out in the community and cleaned up branches and such. You had to volunteer. So I look at what we have coming up Saturday is cleanup day. I had suggested up there maybe go to the schools and maybe have the schools have a volunteer for their community hours. There used to be a sign-up sheet in school. I don't know if there is that thing going on now, but maybe someone could contact school, maybe put it in their ear that maybe if students are short on their community hours or they want to build their hours, maybe they can volunteer this Saturday under supervision and earn their community hours for school. Just a suggestion.
A lot of the events that the city has like that are usually spread to the high school and told to the students that if they need community service, they can.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty good about that.
Good.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a foreign idea up north, and I said, oh, let's make sure it's mentioned here. That's good, I'm glad they're on it. Community event, the shredding, there are several items on here about the shredding contract. With the community cleanup day, I mentioned last year at 24 about it's suggested a consideration of this contract for commercial shredding.
Is this consent agenda number 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is,
Yeah,
this is an IGSA contract. This is actually making the city money.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get to a point here.
Okay.
There is a contract that would be approved through the city. I know it's a different setup with the city contract versus like the AJP shredding, USAG, that's Detroit Tank Arsenal is a separate thing.
Yeah.
But maybe we can bring back the shredding day in conjunction with the cleanup. We have a truck out here. We used to have a truck and you can put your items that you wanted shredded from home, bring 1 bin. I mentioned it last year, it didn't happen for whatever reason. Since the contract's coming up, kind of related, maybe we can include it in cleanup day. Just have it in the back lot, bring your stuff between 12 and 2, whatever, get rid of some shredding.
Yeah.
I have shredding to do, and I do it at home, but you can't do it like wholesale like this. Just a suggestion, okay? We used to do it, it'd be nice to see. Okay. I mentioned the AEW, the Westrick AEW. Last year, there's an increase of 73,000 that they want for expenses. Last year was 5%. This year, this is what I was talking about. It's a flat number. What's the percentage increase this year as opposed to last year? Is it the rate of inflation? I think it was 6.6 last year.
I think we actually talked about it at last meeting.
Yeah, it was 4%.
It was 4.
I think it was 4.5% or something.
4.5, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Lastly, this council doesn't have control, maybe some members here, because I know there's selective enforcement, but I see a lot of window shade tinting, and I don't know if there's still a motor vehicle code violation for that that's adopted locally. Used to be 4 inches from the top. I see total shade covering on side windows all over the place. So, oh, did you see what happened? No, because I couldn't see the person because their window was tinted. Is there still an ordinance or a motor vehicle code for that? And is it being enforced in Centerline on a regular basis? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director, can you answer that question?
There is a law with regards to shading the windows. There's also exceptions to the law that people with certain eye issues can shade their front windshield and their 2 passenger side windows. There are exceptions to that. We stop some, we don't get them all. Let's be realistic. We got a lot more other important traffic things that we have to handle first. We have stopped them. They actually have it on the doctor's notes and stuff that they carry with them, and they show the officers and they're on their way. So, and if they don't, they get a ticket, which is a sign-off ticket once they get it removed.
Enforcing it. Thank you,
So
sir.
we are. Thank you.
Is there anyone else for the audience participation? If that's it, we will close this portion and move on to 6B, Business of the Month. And since we don't have that anymore, we would like to not nominate, but to give our Business of the Month in recognition of their dedication, passion, and hard work in the Centerline community, and a long-standing member of the community, Stasha's Pizza. They would like to come up and be recognized for our Business of the Month. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate
being
it.
part of the community.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Should have brought some cinnamon.
Yeah, I should have brought some
over
sticks
here.
in it. Rushing in.
Right?
Chicken wings.
Right, I mean, it's just not pizza either. It's
we got it all.
bonus stuff.
For sure.
Where would you like this, Janice?
Tracy's gonna take the bid.
Tracy?
One moment, I really wasn't there.
Here, this is your question.
Oh, well, thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. Thanks again.
Man, we'll see you soon.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, that time we leave.
Yes, well, it's a Friday, Stasha's Day, Friday or Saturday. All right.
Did you?
Item number 7, boards and commissions. Janice, what do you got?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. We would like to have Susan Cox, who is the owner of Dairy Freeze. She's been at that business since 2010, and we'd like to have her appointed to the DDA board.
She's being highly recommended for that board.
Are there any questions or concerns? Nope. All right, just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Suzanne Cox to the DDA.
Have a motion?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. On to council action. Item number 1, Assistant Deputy Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, and City Council. This is for consideration of the interlocal agreement with the City of Warren for expanded parks and recreation services at the Warren resident rates. Per the City's Council's previous request, the City Manager, Mayor, and Parks and Recreation Director met with the City of Warren Parks and Recreation Director to discuss the possibility of renewing a previous interlocal agreement for park and recreation services between the City of Centerline and the City of Warren. It was at this time agreed that the cities of Centerline and Warren could negotiate an amicable use agreement in which residents from each community could take advantage of each community's parks and recreation services at the program provider's residence rates. The goal of both communities is to enhance residents' experience of living within their communities by providing each of their residents with the ability to purchase full access membership to each other's parks and recreational offerings. Warren residents will have this opportunity to participate in Centerline Parks and Recreation programs at the membership rates offered to Centerline residents, and Centerline residents will have the opportunity to participate in Warren Parks and Recreation programs at the memberships rates offered to Warren residents. To achieve equity in such an agreement, it was determined that considering that Centerline does not own, an aquatic facility or related amenities, it should compensate the City of Warren for its residents to enjoy the facility's benefits. With that determination, the two communities verbally agreed to an annual payment of $12,000 paid to the City of Warren by the City of Centerline. During the past year, Warren has identified 57 Centerline residents that have used the Warren facilities. This equates to a cost of $210.52 per resident per year. The $24,000 charge over the next fiscal 2 years was not previously anticipated and will increase the Centerline's structural deficit by $24,000, which at that time of the drafting of this letter is estimated to be over $1 million per year.
This is a 2-year contract,
2-year contract,
and then we
yes.
will have to renegotiate after 2 years.
Correct.
So I will let the council ask their questions and that, and if you guys don't cover it, I got some to ask.
What was the cost of it before? Does anybody know?
It was $12,000 a year.
I was gonna say, it was
Mhm.
Okay,
And our
so-
residents still had to pay their rate, right?
Correct.
The Warren's rate after we paid $12,000 and
Right.
then.
Correct.
Which only 57 residents used at $210 a resident, okay.
So is there what is the Warren's resident rate? Is it 210.52 or?
I'm not really sure what they charge per resident
Sean, do you? Sean's not here.
here.
That's just my curiosity. What are our residents gonna be paying? I know there wasn't a day pass.
Is it in here?
I do not recall seeing that in the actual contract.
I didn't see either. Guess you can look it up online.
Yeah, you could, I mean, you could, right, you could, but, it's something our residents have, they've been wanting.
Yeah, they've
And
been,
it's just a 2-year, commitment. And then we'd have to look closely after that 2 years if hopefully more than 57 people will use it.
hopefully they keep record of Centerline residents using it.
And we will need a good social media campaign
Yes.
and other methods to get it out to our residents for the next few months as well, to make sure that everyone knows.
Sure.
And we can get that, and then we might even have to send out, maybe after 6 months, hit them again, right?
Sure.
You know,
It's
stuff like
something
that.
It's something that we can put it in with our utility billing as well.
Right, along with all
Yep.
of our Instagram and all that stuff, okay?
can we, for our own benefit, can we make sure we request a quarterly report of how many members have signed up from the City of Warren?
Sure, I think that they could do that for us.
Do we have a contact person in the city to get that type of information yet, or we still have to work?
I believe it would be with the Parks and Rec Director.
I think it is. His email address was on.
Yeah, I see it, I just saw it. Any other questions, guys?
I'm good.
Mayor? Okay.
No, I'm good.
Well,
I'll make,
No, go ahead.
okay, I'll make a motion that council approve the interlocal agreement with the city of Warren for expanded parks and recreation services at Warren resident rates.
I have a motion, can I have support?
Support.
Support, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 2, the consideration of request for approval to impose penalty for late filing of property transfer affidavit, Assistant Deputy Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, on November 5th, 2018, City Council passed Resolution 2018-003, waiving the imposition of penalties for the late filing of property transfer affidavits, which was permitted under MLC 211.27. The timely filing of property transfer affidavits provides critical information for 3 city functions: tax collecting, utility billing, and code enforcement. If the city does not have accurate property owner information, the complete execution of the services identified above is challenged. Over the past several years, we have observed that many property transfer affidavits are not filed timely, and the responsible party is not penalized while the city incurs additional costs to perform various functions due to a lack of knowledge of current property ownership. On April 3rd, 2025, the State Tax Commission updated Form 2766 to implement the changes affected by the Public Act 97 of 2024, which were effective April 5th, 2025. The law modified certain filing fees related to the failure to submit a property transfer affidavit within 45 days of transfer of ownership. These new fees are as follows. Section 211.27, if the buyer, grantee, or other transferee in the immediate preceding transfer of ownership of property does not notify the appropriate assessing office as required by Section 27A, the property's taxable value shall be adjusted under Section 27A and subject to subsection 9 of all of the following must be levied. Any additional taxes that would have been levied if the transfer of ownership had been recorded as required under this act from the date of transfer, interest and penalty from the date the tax would have been originally levied. For property classified under Section 34 as either industrial real property or commercial real property, a penalty in the following amount, except as otherwise provided in subparagraph 2. If the sale price of the property transferred is $1 billion or less, it'll be $20 per day for each separate failure beginning after the 45 days have elapsed, up to a maximum of $1,000. If the sale price of the property transferred is more than $1,020,000 after the 45 days have elapsed. For real property other than real property classified under Section 34C and industrial real property or commercial real property, a penalty of $5 per day for each separate failure beginning after the 45 days has elapsed, up to a maximum of one of the following as applicable. For property owned and occupied as principal residence, it's $200. As used in subparagraph, principal residence means a term as defined as Section 7D. For all other property, it would be $4,000. So it is requested that council rescind Resolution 2018-003 effective July 1st, 2025.
Flipping back, okay.
Put it back to the old one.
Yeah.
Put it back to the old one again.
If we don't have any other questions or any questions on this, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that council approve the request to rescind Resolution 2018-003 and to impose penalties for late filing of property transfer affidavits.
I have a motion, can I have support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3, consideration of request for approval of order number 1, Stevens Pump Station and CLS 1 meter pit improvement, Assistant Deputy Manager.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, as you're aware, the AEW had prepared plans and specifications for the Stevens Pump Station and CL-S-1 meter pit improvements, which was approved by City Council on August 12, 2024. This project consists of replacement of 2 pumps, associated electrical discharge piping, purchases at the Stevens Pump Road Station. Additionally, improvements at the meter pit located at 8 Mile right-of-way include upsizing of the metering discharge piping, providing a new flow meter suited for the larger piping and associated chamber modifications. Great Lakes Water Authority owns and maintains the meter pit. The upgrades included in this project will provide the necessary improvements for the city to meet the requirements of its administrative consent order with the State of Michigan Department of Environment and Great Lakes Energy. Since the project was awarded, AEW has been working with the contractor to approve submittals and prepare for a quick construction progress. Through review of the project, AEW has issued several bulletins that address necessary changes for a complete project. Prime issues addressed in this change order include revised bypass and added traffic control due to drop connection manhole in front of the station, including added traffic control and permitting with Moot and the City of Warren. Pump carts and ship ladder as requested by city staff, structural reinforcement additions to the meter pit, electrical CT cabinet for upgraded DTE service. These changes are necessary to ensure the project will function as intended. AEW recommends authorization of the pricing for bulletins number 1 through 4 to be included in contract modification 1 in the amount of $259,804.25. During the award process, AEW had recommended a 10% contingency of $344,033. After approval of this change order, a contingency budget of $84,228.75 would remain for any unforeseen conditions. Based upon the recommendations of the city engineer, the city manager does recommend city council approve the change order for the Stevens Pump Station and meter pit improvements in the amount not to exceed $259,804.25, with a contingency budget remaining at $84,228.75 for unforeseen conditions.
Thank you. Get a drink of water?
All
Wow.
right. Wow.
You get all the long ones.
Right. Questions? I know it's all part of our agreement that we have, so we didn't have to build a big old retaining.
Yeah.
So we still have, it seems like $84,000 for any more unseen conditions. Is this correct?
Unforeseen.
Yep, there's Joe.
That is incorrect.
Yep.
That is incorrect?
Incorrect?
AEW's recommendations and estimates do not carry weight here. It's the state of Michigan that sets the budget because of the loan. And as a result of this change order, $26,560.25 will be required to be paid out of the city coffers, and any additional change orders that increase the cost of this project will have to be paid entirely by the city, because the loan agreement only permits a certain amount for contingency, and we've obviously exceeded that with our first change order.
So that 26,000 is coming out of the 84,000 that we had for unforeseen?
Nope, that
Our general fund then?
it's coming out of the water and the sewer fund.
Fund, okay.
So this change order in the amount of $259,804.25. Of that, only $233,244 will be covered by the loan. Anything from this point forward, in terms of a change order that increases costs, will have to be paid for out of the water and sewer fund.
Do we have enough interest, we don't have to raise our water rates anymore?
Well, we are not proposing any fixed asset improvements for next fiscal year. However, we will be asking for a special meeting agenda for the next meeting to increase water and sewer rates by $90 a year in order to pay for the debt payments, with the first payment due in April.
Yeah. We'll hold that conversation off for that meeting. Oh my.
Yep.
Okay.
And that does not include interest, because I've been keeping the reimbursements down, so the interest hasn't kicked in yet. So when the project really starts moving forward next fiscal year, the interest will start accruing. But I think right now I can hold that first principal payment next April at around $175,000 with pennies for interest.
my. Well, we didn't want to hear that.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
All right, item number 3, I could use a motion.
I'm not making that one, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe me.
we need.
No choice.
Yeah, I mean.
I'll make the motion that council approve change order number 1, Stevens Pump Station and sealess 1 meter pit improvement in the amount not to exceed $259,804.25 with contingency budget remaining at $84,228.75 for unseen conditions.
I have a motion, can we have support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
I mean, it's, motion carried. I mean, it's dang if you do and dang if you don't, right? I mean,
I know,
if you
well,
don't do it, then
You
we're
got the next
forced
one
to.
coming up too.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have to do it. Okay. Item number 4, consideration of request for approval of engineering expense increase with AEW services related to the 10-mile main crossing project. Assistant Deputy Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. As City Council may recall, the AEW city engineer was engaged by the City of Centerline for the design, observation, and contract administration of the 10-mile road water main replacement project. The purpose of this project was to construct new water meter crossings of 10-mile road as a precursor to the Macomb County Department of Roads project to remove and replace 10-mile road pavement within the city limits. The 10-mile road water main crossing project was awarded to the lowest bidder, Lawrence M. Clark. It has been reported by AEW that the contractor has been inefficient in the execution of the work. This fact, coupled with damaging existing utilities, inexperienced workers, recent MCDOR utility installation conflicts, and MCDOR inspection conflicts, and extended the length and cost of the contracts with both LMC and AEW. As such, AEW has spent significant amount of time observing the work and mitigating ongoing issues with LMC, coordinating with MCDOR representatives, coordinating with Dan's Excavating, preparing plans for the open cut of the Sherwood Avenue water main replacement project, which was previously directional drill, as well as defending the City of Centerline from erroneous contractor claims being made by LMC. As part of the city's and AEW's efforts to resolve the increased project expense, specifically related to LMC, AEW has exceeded its previously approved engineering expense for observation and CCA services for this project in the amount of $58,285.46. This additional work and related expense of this aforementioned engineering service has been validated by the city manager, and it is considered a work scope that exceeds what was the originally agreed project work scope. Furthermore, the city manager does agree with AEW's requested additional expense of $15,000 for ongoing observation and CCA services through the completion of the 10-mile water main crossing project as appropriate. Therefore, the city manager does recommend that the city council approve additional engineering expenses for the 10-mile water main crossing project in the amount not to exceed $73,385.46.
Questions? I have a few, if you guys
Joe,
will get to
you
them.
might want to come back up, buddy.
Now, Aaron, Pete, do you want to?
Go ahead, you can go first.
Now, it says here, and city manager does agree that AEW's requested additional expense of $15,000 for ongoing, observation. So we're not paying $58,000 anymore, we're going to pay $73,000, right? So it's just a $15,000 bump, not a $73,000 bump.
Correct, for this particular request.
Right, okay, I just wanted to make sure that, because when I first read it, I'm like, oh dang, we gotta pay another $73,000, but this is another $15,000.
On top of the 53 that we've already
Yeah.
spending.
Yeah,
because they pay.
58, yeah, plus 15, right?
Yeah.
But what recourse, since LMC is not doing their job properly, is there any recourse we can do to not
Does
have
anybody try
them
getting
pay it,
15,000
or?
out of LMC?
I was involved in one meeting where LMC was placing, I forget, another $150,000 of costs on this particular project. And most of those were completely without basis. And AEW has been going back and forth hours and hours with them. I think I've only cut them one check. By this time, I should have probably cut them 2-3 checks because their LMC, because their billing is just atrocious.
So AEW is like our watchdog right now over LMC to make sure they're doing a good job.
Correct. However, I have learned today that there will probably be another change order request coming before council to cover LMC's additional costs, which in this case may prove to be legitimate for the change in scope to the boring of the water main under 10 Mile and Sherwood intersection. I haven't seen that number yet. I've heard something. I don't want to repeat it because I haven't seen it in writing yet, but if it's what I hear, it's not pretty.
I mean, reading what she just read, they've already damaged existing stuff.
Right.
I mean,
And they're repairing.
anybody else does that, they gotta pay it.
And that's part of the negotiation as well, because not only is AEW saying, here, what you want to charge us isn't justified, but by the way, you owe us money because you damaged city property.
So that's our back and forth right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Did we have anything written in the original contract for covered damages?
I believe so. I believe it's a very good contract.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in our insurance, is what it said.
It's definitely
What
something we're
insurance is
gonna
for.
have to follow back up on that.
And if council will recall, LMC was the low bidder by a great distance.
Right.
And I think we now know
Why?
why.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I know we all have concerns,
Yes.
but it looks like AEW is doing their job.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see more information from AEW, what's written in the contract before we do this.
So you
I'd like-
don't want to approve are you saying you don't want to approve the extra $15,000 yet until you see something else in writing?
That's what I'm saying, yes. I'd like to see what's in the contract written.
For
For
AEW or
for
LMC?
LMC, what's there gonna be repercussion? Pardon us more.
Wouldn't that be more of an LMC issue than a AEW
Yeah, that'd be
issue?
something we get.
That's true. That is true.
'Cause it
And
looks
remember,
like-
we're not cutting any checks to LMC.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, this is the AEW, but I definitely agree with Pete that we should be on top of LMC ASAP and figuring out what our contract says and doing what's right for us.
And
I mean,
maybe,
it sounds like, again, here we are. It's
We're
another,
getting stuck to us.
we're getting.
Yeah, we're getting stuck to us, no.
And maybe Janice, you can get back with Dennis on that.
I will,
Okay.
yes.
And give us an
Because
update.
I did not see the LMC contract, so.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll resend that, then I'll make a motion, there's no more questions.
Okay, we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, council approve the request for increase in engineering costs with AEW for the 10 Mile Water Main Crossing Project in the amount not to exceed $73,385.46.
I have a motion, can I have support? All in favor?
All right,
Motion carried. Consent agenda. Is there any item under the for audience, is there any items under the consent agenda they would like to be pulled and read?
3, 6, 7, 8.
Anybody on council want any items pulled for the consent agenda? No? All right, I need a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as amended
So we
with
would
3,
like-
6, 7, and 8.
I have a motion, can I have support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. So item number 3 And that is the request for approval of an agreement for AJP Commercial Shredding for shredding services. Assistant Deputy Manager.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yep, take your time. It's down there quite a bit. Yep,
Is that, that's number 3?
that's what it says here. I'm trying to get to it right now. It is on page, I think, 46. Oh, no, maybe it is, yes, 46. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I got 36.
You got 36?
Yep, 36,
36, yep.
35.
Okay, I have it.
I went to, okay.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. As the City Council may recall, the City Council authorized the city manager to renew an existing agreement with the United States Army Garrison Detroit Tank Arsenal for solid waste and recycling management services, which has been provided through the City of Centerline as part of the Intergovernmental Services Agreement, Solid Waste and Recycling Management Services during the past year. Consistent with the aforementioned ICSA for solid waste and recycling management services, the city administration has requested updated service agreements from the current contractors providing said services to the USAG DTA. Accordingly, AGP Commercial Shredding has submitted a proposal for the confidential shredding services in the amount not to exceed $29,538.60, with the option to extend each year thereafter until such time as the United States Army at AGP Commercial Shredding or the city opt out. The commercial shredding services provided is proposed to be increased by 4.7% for the portion of the solid waste and recycling management services. The city manager does recommend that the city council waive the requirements for the 3 bids and approve the proposed service agreements submitted by AGP Commercial Shredding in the amount not to exceed $29,538.60. It should be noted that the city shall receive from the USAG DTA, as agreed, $30,940 for the commercial shredding services provided and agreed 10% administrative fee in the amount of $3,094 for a total of $34,034.
This is for the U.S. Army Garrison, not for the city.
Correct.
Just
Correct.
so everyone knows, right?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. If there's no other questions, make a motion.
I'll make a motion to waive the requirement for 3 bids and approve the contract with AJP Commercial Shredding to provide confidential shredding services to the USAG DTA as part of the IGSA Solid Waste and Recycling Management Services in the amount not to exceed $29,538.60.
I have a motion. Can I have support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. On to number 6, the request for approval of renewal of agreement between the U.S. Army Garrison Detroit Arsenal and City of Centerline for the provisions of solid waste recycling commercial shredding management services for 2026 not to exceed $294,880.74. That was the one that I was on.
Page 47.
Got it. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, as the mayor and City Council may recall, the city began providing solid waste, recycling, and commercial shredding management services to the United States Army Garrison Detroit Tank Arsenal, located in Warren. This program is identified by the U.S. Army and government as an intergovernmental support agreement, which can be entered into pursuant to the federal law codified at 10 U.S.C. 2679. This statute authorizes the Secretary of the Army to enter into an IGSA on a sole source basis with the state of the local government to receive installation, support, and services and extend the same when further authorized. The Secretary of Army has delegated authority to the USAG DTA Garrison Manager to execute agreements on behalf of the United States. As you know, the city currently has an IGSA with USAG DTA to provide solid waste, recycling, and commercial shredding management services to USAG DTA. Therefore, as a result of the success during the past calendar year of this agreement, and with the approval of the City Council of the City of Centerline, the city administration and USAG DTA administration wishes to extend its current agreement with GFL Environmental USA, Inc. for the provision of solid waste services, Unlimited Recycling, Inc., for recycling services, and AGP Commercial Shredding for commercial shredding services, with the exceptions and pricing set forth by the U.S. Army's Performance Work Statement, in the amount not to exceed $294,880.74, which includes an agreed 10% administrative fee of $26,807.34. This recommendation amounts to a 6.9% increase from fiscal year 2025. It should be noted that approximately 3% of the increase is due to an increase in scope of services specific to recycling as requested by USAG DTA. With the aforementioned information, the city manager requests that city council authorize him to extend the ICSA. Wow.
With the USAG, yeah, we're gonna,
With the
Just
ICSA
abbreviate.
grant,
There, yeah.
contract with the USAG DTA and the United States Army for solid waste, recycling, and commercial management services for the performance period of June 1st, 2025 through May 31st, 2026, in the amount not to exceed $294,880.74. This contract amount could be more should the USAG DTA request additional services outside of the scope of this agreement or other applicable service provisions not outlined in this proposal.
We're making money?
We are.
A little bit. Believe me, I see them guys out there working every day.
are there any other questions?
Nope.
All right, I have a motion.
I'll make a motion to request for approval renewal of agreement between the U.S. Army Garrison Detroit Arsenal, City of Centerline, for the Commission of Solid Waste, Recycling and Commercial Shredding Management Services for fiscal year 2026, not to exceed $294,880.74.
I have a motion.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now, number 7, there's a lot of the same reading.
Yes.
You can break it down to the, because a lot of it's, you just mentioned Detroit Tank Arsenal for solid waste recycling
Correct.
through City of Centerline, consistent with ISG for solid waste, shredding. You can probably skip to the Quarterling Unlimited Recycling. Or you read it however you like it. I'm just trying to
Okay.
save your voice.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. So this is for the, to approve the contract with Unlimited Recycling to provide recycling services to USAG DTA as part of the ICSA Solid Waste Recycling and Commercial Shredding Management Services Agreement. Accordingly, Unlimited Recycling has submitted a proposal for the aforementioned recycling services in the amount not to exceed $124,411.04, with the option to extend each year thereafter until such time as the United States Army, Unlimited Recycling, or the city opt out. The recycling services provided is proposed to be increased by 12.2% for that portion of the solid waste recycling and commercial shredding management services. This increase includes a requested increase in the scope of services provided. Without the additional requested services for recycling in fiscal year, the increase is 4.6%. The city manager does recommend that the city council waive the requirement for these 3 bids and approve the proposed service agreement submitted by Unlimited Recycling in the amount not to exceed $124,411.60. It should be noticed that the city shall receive from the USAG DTA as agreed $139,359 for the recycling services provided and an agreed 10% administrative fee in the amount of $13,935.90 for a total of $153,294.90.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
Nope.
If there's no questions, I can entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to waive the requirement for 3 bids and approve contract with Unlimited Recycling, Inc. to provide recycling services to USAG DTA as part of the ICSA Solid Waste Recycling and Commercial Shredding Management Services Agreement in the amount not to exceed $124,411.
I have a motion, can I have support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 8, request for approval of renewal of agreement with GFL Environmental to provide solid waste services in amount not to exceed $93,647.84. Assistant Deputy Manager.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and City Council, as City Council and Mayor may recall, the City Council authorized the city manager to renew an existing agreement with the United States Army Garrison for solid waste recycling and commercial shredding. Consistent with the aforementioned IGSA for solid waste recycling and commercial shredding services, the city administration has received bids from 2 vendors for the provision of solid waste services to the USAG DTA. Accordingly, GFL Environmental USA and the city's current residential and commercial solid waste service provider, Priority Waste, have submitted proposals for the aforementioned solid waste services in the amounts listed below, with the option to extend each year thereafter until such time as the United States Army, GFL, or city opt out. The solid waste service bids received have been vetted to ensure that they are qualified and meet the minimum standards requested by USAG. Upon reviewing the current solid waste providers, GFL Environment performance during the past year, it was determined that by USAG DTA that they wish to maintain said current vendor to continue provision of solid waste services. In consideration of USAG DTA's determination that they wish to maintain the current vendor, the city has concluded that GFL Environmental USA Inc.'s bid is in fact the lowest such qualified bid. GFL Environmental provided a proposal that maintains its fiscal year 2025 pricing for the 2026 fiscal year. The city manager does recommend the city council waive the requirement, accept the 2 bids received, and approve the proposed service agreement submitted by GFL Environmental USA in the amount not to exceed $93,647.84. It should be noted that the city shall receive from USAG DTA, as agreed, for the solid waste services provided an agreed 10% administrative fee in the amount of $9,777.44, a total of $107,551.84 in fiscal year 2026.
Thank you. Any questions? If there's no questions, I can have a motion.
I'll make the motion to request the approval or renewal of the agreement with GFL Environmental USA Inc. and to provide solid waste services to USAG DTA in an amount not to exceed $93,647.
I have a motion, can I have support? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. On to council comments. Councilman Horensky.
All right, always back to the water bill. Remember to check your water bills. If you see the letter E on there, your water bill's being estimated. Don't get caught. Keep getting estimated bills. They'll eventually catch up to you. Other than that, we have a lot of things going on at the library. Adult Lego party. Past, nope, still coming up. Next dates are June 3rd and July 8th. And don't forget about the Centerline Festival coming up May 31st. Lots of good stuff coming on there, Cruising 53, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Tlaka.
Ditto on what Councilman Horensky said, all these awesome things that are happening in the city, please go check them out. And yeah, make sure if you see a senior from Centerline, say congratulations, because they're gonna hopefully be graduating very soon, so.
Hopefully. They will be graduating. Well, I hope so.
I hope so.
They may need more community service hours.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
That's it for me, though.
Congratulations to the seniors this year. They're gonna graduate 2025. VFW Mother's Day, May 11th. Come on over, support the VFW and enjoy Mother's Day brunch done by some of the cooks over there at VFW. And also, I've been keeping an eye on our buddy Jack.
Yes.
He just crossed into Oklahoma, or he's through Oklahoma, halfway through. So, but he's getting tired.
Yeah, you got, yeah.
He said he was kinda down and out last couple days, legs are
Something with his
bothering him.
Achilles or something.
Yeah, he's
not his
got
Achilles
a burr
Yeah.
down there, so support Jack, show your support and love to him. Make sure he makes it home. I'm still gonna try and make it out there June 20th, I believe it is. Meet him out in Washington DC and walk the last 5 miles with him, so.
Nice.
I doubt it, but I'm gonna, if I gotta drive my car, ride a bike, I can get out there with him, so.
You can do it, you can do it. Okay, thank you.
All on you.
I have a couple, and maybe you can take them back if you don't have the answers, Janice. Number one, the service drive, MDOT, with the wall that still has not been repaired. Can we check with them and see how much longer that's going to take?
I will definitely follow up on that.
Okay, thank you. I know, I'm gonna ask, even though we probably don't have an update, but Vulcan Hall, has there been any suitors, or are they all up to date on everything that we can possibly have there? I haven't been by their property in the last few weeks, but are they all in compliance with all the ordinances?
The landscaper was out there, I believe, last week or the week before, and because I had a hard time going ahead and reaching out to the owner and him responding, he was given a warning notice. His 10-day warning notice is not up yet on the trash and debris and the weeds and whatnot. If he doesn't go ahead and comply again, obviously I'll be issuing another ticket. The citations that have been issued before, he has not signed for, so I don't know the status of those.
So we are staying on top of them, like.
Correct.
Like super, I mean, I know you do, but I just want it on record that we are on them on this, and.
I have spoken with the city manager on that, and I'm looking at a few other things. And I'm also getting with Roger Pitch, our building inspector, on that.
'Cause
So
we-
we're looking on some other options that we may have.
Like, when's the last time we were in that building, and I know it's all documented.
I know assessing went ahead and I believe was in there last year. I believe Colleen was in there, yes. I don't know because I'm not a building inspector and I'm not privy to what Roger's findings were. So I don't know, that would be probably more of a question for building and assessing.
Okay.
So as far as the status of the interior, it's been quite a few years and I know it was not real good when I was.
Yeah, okay, I thank you.
So.
A couple. I would like to thank Crest Ford for their, maybe not donation of their lots, but them stepping up for a
No,
place for our
support.
Independence Festival.
Yeah.
That was huge for them. They didn't have to do that, but that's a big partner of the community right there, Crest Ford. And I appreciate them doing that, because that's a big weekend for us, and it's a fun weekend for everybody. On priority waste, we signed that priority waste agreement before they merged with GFL, just so everyone knows. And we did it because, and correct me if I'm wrong, the other bids were extremely more at the time.
Yes.
And then a couple weeks later, Priority Waste bought GFL. And we didn't know this. It was not news to us.
Right.
And then all of the clients for GFL, not just our community, we've suffered for that because they weren't prepared for it. And we have to stay diligent on them, and we do, but the only thing we can do is just to keep calling them. We have to be notified of it. And then, or correct me if I'm wrong, you can call them at Priority Waste too and leave a message, but
Absolutely.
the more examples we have to present them. We can't break the contract or anything like that. We have to stay, I know, if I read right, one community did, but if we do, we have to find somebody else. And that'll cost probably 6 figures more, if I remembered right, the next contract was. So our contract, I believe it was a 2-year contract, I think we had with them, and it'll probably be up in a year, where we can then go out and maybe find another vendor if they don't perform up to a spec, which I think we can all agree, they've been probably below
Yes.
what we wanted. So we just have to stay on them about this, and probably just have to wait another year until our contract is up, until we find it. Because I don't know all the legalities of it if we do break their contract, if we still have to pay them. And then we have to pay on top of it another company to do our waste for us. So it does not go unnoticed that they're not performing how we want them to. Well, we're gonna stay on them about it, and if they don't perform the way we want them to, then we're gonna have to come back and look at them in a year. So it doesn't go unnoticed. We appreciate the complaints, because we have to give them examples. So just keep coming to us, we'll give the examples, and we just gotta stay on top of them. It's just not the best, situation, but that's what we were dealt with.
Well, it's better too if they come in and let us know instead of being on Facebook and just
Well,
yakking about it.
That was
Not saying
unfortunate,
anything.
it was.
We
Yeah.
do have quite a few residents that will call City Hall, and we actually send an email to the route supervisor to let them know what's going on.
I've sent
Right.
a couple as well, because their trucks aren't maintained and they leak all over the place. And They leaves all, and they don't clean up after themselves, and it's there for weeks, right?
Sure.
So,
Or we gonna pay good for them?
right, or we clean up for them. So we all feel your pain, we all know what they're not doing correctly, so we just gotta stay on top of it and do our best. I know it's probably not the answer everyone hopes for, but it's the hand we're dealt with.
Or
Right
maybe
now.
just go out and buy a couple trucks and do it ourselves, like Warren does.
Well, that-
Mayor Pro Tem, can I make a recommendation? Can we have somebody at the next council meeting?
From Priority Waste?
Priority Waste?
You know what?
We're working on that.
We had it before with GFL,
Yes, we did, that's right.
so let's get them in front of us and put them on the hot seat.
Residents come on in and bug
Yeah,
them.
yeah, and just voice your concerns.
Keep sending those videos.
When they
Right.
bought out GFL, don't they have to stay with the same contract? Don't they have to honor whatever was in that contract to do things the right way?
They do, but they're not, but there's not a
Well,
recall.
who holds them accountable?
We, yes. We understand, but there's all kinds of legalities we have to go through and stuff before, we just can't cut the contract.
I'm not asking you to
But
cut
we,
the contract.
but there's nothing we can do to hold them accountable besides complain and terminate their contract next time. We can't go there, hire a
Not
worker,
approve
you
it.
know, but anyhow, it's,
Yeah,
it's,
not be able to approve the contract too.
yeah, it's complicated.
Well, we signed a new, we signed a new contract with Priority before GFL left, so the GFL contract's not there anymore. We signed a new contract,
Okay,
so.
Yeah, they did have the GFL contract wasn't there.
But I think, okay. Assistant Deputy Manager, comments?
Okay, so, good news for Sean Masseria. If you see her, she graduated college, her commencement.
I did see that,
So
yes.
please
Good for her.
congratulate her. She worked
Yep.
really hard to get to that point. Just a reminder of cleanup day on Saturday. And then we have our festival at the end of the month, May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. We are still looking for volunteers, residents, high school students. Come in and see either myself or Sean at the Parks and Rec building if you'd like to volunteer.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Well, thank you. That's it. I'll make a motion, I could entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and support. All in favor? Aye. Everyone have a good night.
Everybody be safe.